So remember, you have to start somewhere. Where is the core job? This was after exploration, but we started somehow like this: take care of my skin. This is very, very functional, to take care of my skin. And women are doing this, and men also, but this was for women. So take care of my skin. And then we explored and we found something higher up. Define my personality, we called it, and we heard that from consumers. I'm defining my personality. I'm portraying my identity through appearance, through the way I look. And suddenly it's not just about skincare, but it's also about hair. Hair is very important. It's about clothes. It's about accessories. So suddenly the solution for the job above, there are different solutions for the job above. So can go that way. Then there is another example: stay independent, stay financially independent for a bank. So, okay, these were normal people. Normal wealth, middle class. So, be financially independent. So we put the financially into brackets and say, okay, what's higher up? To live a self-determined life, and finance, money is important for this, but health is also important for this. Lifestyle, career. So suddenly other jobs, sub-jobs, other product categories play into the same job, higher job. So it can really help you understand competition. We helped to design the FIFA football museum in Zurich. They came and said, we want to create a museum. We said, museum is not good, it's boring. What's the job you try to achieve? And then users were families and singles, friends, we called them, friends and families. So what are families doing? What's the job that they try to achieve? Spend time together as a family. Now what's the competition? It's going to the movies, going to somewhere. And suddenly the competition is totally different than what they thought in the beginning. They were always benchmarking them against art museums and other football museums, and we changed that perspective. And it is now more an entertainment park than a museum. Yeah?
To rank the different jobs, or does it even matter? Like when you define that, to do that with the different jobs, does it make sense to rank them? Like one is really much more important than the other?
It could make sense, yes. It could make sense if this is really the question, the business question. So if it's really a strategy question of where do we want to play, what's the job, the overarching job we want to address, it can be very useful to quantify this, because it tells you where to play. But many companies are stuck in their business model, and they would never think about going into healthcare. A bank would never think about going into healthcare. But maybe it's important for a bank to know that health is also relevant. So then, okay, go back to skincare. What is before, what is afterwards? So you can, here we took the day. So you wake up, that's the first thing you do. Then check how I look. So people watch into the mirror, and women, and they check how do they look, how does the skin look. So that's a first step that is important, and they assess. Okay, I look. It's different when I have just went out the night before, drank till 2 o'clock in the morning, smoked a lot of cigarettes, and then I look in the mirror. It's different than when it's an easy day. So that's where it starts. Then there are different options, and then it goes into the care process, and then afterwards you go to work, they go to shopping, they go to a party, dinner. These are other jobs. They enjoy compliments. And here also, and we haven't showed this, is the deeper why. Why are they doing this? And it could be safety and health, for example. Health could be healthy skin. It could be social, so that other people like me. No, that's very important here. And if you think about purpose of skincare, it's being liked, and less, yeah. So we also look at this other things behind. And then we go down the deeper how, and we really explore what they do. So they assess, that's the mirror thing, they prepare the skin, they apply, they let the effect unfold. There is a first effect, and then there is a longer lasting effect, which is difficult to measure, but they still do. Yeah?
So there you're in the solution then.
We try to avoid, what we say is we try to be on this level, we try to be solution free. So take container is not good. Huh? That's clearly pointing towards a solution. But sometimes you have to be pragmatic, because packaging packaging is important, and if they want to stay in creams, then probably do it. But the mandate was also look beyond creams. So we had a lot of things that was really without creams. It was about Botox, about, the solution to it, food. Yeah.
If even the lower how stays away from function or
solution,
then what does it include? Because my view, or as I understood until now, the how is really what is done, and that really is very reliant and tightly linked with the solution. Just like as you said, like the take container, like I apply things. Well, that means that you have a product. Yes.
Yeah.
But if not in the lower how is near the solution, then the whole thing becomes really very philosophical in my view.
It can, but we try. Let's take an example: software. So you can ask, okay, you look for this icon, and then you press the icon, and then it starts up. So that's the solution, huh? Or you can, and then when you explore further, and you ask, what do you want to achieve? You say, okay, I want that there are no steps, no manual steps to start the software. Now the manual steps is now solution free, but the software is still solution. So you see what I mean? You try to zoom into this startup process of a software, and you find out what is really the problem. Yeah? And they say, okay, I can't find the icon. It takes me too much time to start it up. And then you have a metric to tell you, solution free, what it's all about. What's the problem? That's the next. It's exactly this metric. It's this next step. So the job, we try to be solution free, but not. Sometimes it doesn't work. We try to be on this level solution free, but in the end, if the business is software, then we somehow have to play to it. If the business is a bank, it's a bank. But we try to put it away.
And in this case, to take care of my skin, is that what level is that? Is that the higher Y? Because it seems to me that as you're saying, if this is a lower how, but you say it needs to be solution free, to me that feels a bit like it's pulled too high up because it's not tangible enough. But to take care of my skin in those terms feels to me too pulled down, because actually I want to look healthy, or I want to feel good.
Yeah.
So to take care of my skin, is that supposed to be the higher Y, or is that just...
No, that was really the core. Mm-hmm. But that's exactly the problem. The problem you run into with job to be done is where is it? And there is no one answer. It's you can argue it's too high, but then you immediately are in the lower how and close to the solution. Or you can argue it's too low, and then you go up. But when you go into health, you might get lost. Now they were open to this, and we looked at concepts that were about food. They said food is something we can look at, or medical things. Yeah.
How do you deal with user segmentation? Like you have that many types of, when you observing, you see that there are patterns. Groups A, B, C, and D acting differently. How do you then frame?
Now, in the exploration phase, when we talk to a small set of users, 20 typically, 15 to 25, and we try to have normal ones and extremes. But we try to have a good mix, let's say. When we go into validation, we discover the segments through the validated results. So we ask observable criteria like social demographics, and then we map what we call pain points, I'll show it afterwards, against it, and we say, okay, this men have these pain points and female have these pain points, and they're totally different. So probably two segments.
And you redo a whole screen for each of the segments? Or you try
No, we have the same frame. We have the same frame and the same list for all the segments. We don't have another one. This is for one type of user, but the users are not segmented. They are consumers or users, so it's not too narrow. And when you go into other categories, for example, medtech. In medtech, you have doctors, nurses, patients, even health insurance companies. So you have different stakeholders, but they all have different jobs. A nurse has a different job than a physician, no? And therefore they have different maps, different hierarchies. And this can blow up a job to be done project, because you suddenly have 4 different groups, and it's too complex. But we just did a study in the US with nurses and physicians, and it was beautiful because the pain points, then there were clear common pain points and there were separate pain points. So it allowed to do a value proposition for the common with specific solutions for the doctors and the nurses. But we are just, I mean, this is just the preparation. This is where it starts, yeah?
I had a question around the segmentation, because my understanding was that the segmentation in jobs to be done, the job is the unit of analysis, and so I don't know if you were asking about this, if there's different job for different, like each segment has a different job, and I just wanted to respond to that, because I think, and you could tell me if I'm wrong, is that you segment based on for one job, but for people at different outcomes they want from a job, and those are the segments. Is this?
Yeah. Yeah. So you have to think about we call it user group. The user group, and there's one big user group, and in the user group there are segments, but these segments are different from the outcomes or the value metrics, how we call them. How do they respond then to the validation? It's not possible, if you talk to 20 users, to segment based on these databases. It's not possible. It's you can. That's what's been wrong in lean and all this. It's only when you start to be above 30 or 40 or 60, the patterns start to be relevant.
Sure, but for a company, you could use common sense, like a man is quite different from a woman. You could say that.
So here it was clear.
But a 10-year-old girl would be different from a 80-year-old girl.
So in exploration, there were about 20 or 25 women that was defined, not for men, for women. Different age groups. So there was a mix of different age groups. There was a criteria. They were all in Germany, and there was a kind of a criteria, kind of lifestyle. We wanted to have people who had a wilder lifestyle and noble lifestyle. So, but who smoked, for example, before, or drink alcohol, and so we did, but that was a definition. That's you have to define it. Yeah.
You just mentioned that the patterns start emerging when you have developed
30,
40, 50 people that you've interviewed, or and I'm just wondering, because in sort of software testing, there's often sort of this number that from about when you talk with 5 people, then you pretty much have 80% of your problems identified. It's the remaining 20% that you can sort of get on there, but the value of one interview sort of starts diminishing already very low.
Absolutely, but that's not pattern recognition. That is exploration. So if you talk to 5 people from the same group, you get probably about 60-70% of the metrics. We call them metrics. If you talk to 20, you get up to 95%.